Cage, Season 1, Episode number 5, Cinco, My Guardian Angel. What's in that bag? It's Friday night. I got a half pint. I got a half pint of Hennessy. I'm outside and it's tipping. I'm securing the bag. I decided to go to my car, my hoopty, because at the time I had two cars. I had the flashy car on the 20s, and I had the hoopty, the old celebrity. I decided to go and take a sip of my half pint, and my godson, who was watching but I didn't know, he's sitting on the back of the car. The trunk was facing the street. Turns around and says to me, "What's in that bag? What's in that bag?" This little guy, back then, his name was Fat Fat. And I first met Fat Fat at Larkham Village. I was dating his auntie. We had been together since 98, probably around 2001, 2002, maybe 2003 at the most. And she had brought him into our home, our apartment, because she was getting ready for church that Sunday. Now, the day before, the night before, of course, we hitting blocks, we doing what we do on our Saturday nights, was a bit extreme. The resume of that day was get dressed, get your pack ready, go to the liquor store, ride around, and do what we do. That night before, that Sunday, I knew we had drunk 1800 because 1800 Quavo tequila comes out of your pores the day after. And that Sunday, when she was preparing herself to go to church, I could smell it coming out of my pores. And if I could smell it coming out of my pores, I know that she could smell it. However, she had limited options at the time. She asked me to hold the baby. And I had never been introduced to this little guy, Fat Isaiah. And I can recall at the time that it would have been quite different for me to hold a baby, even though I found out as my purpose revealed itself why kids always gravitated towards me. Hence why I work with youth now. But at that time, I could probably, safe to say that I was a little bit apprehensive. She gave me him in my arms, and I laid down and I put him on my chest. And as this young man rested on my chest, he got connected to my heart. And from that day forward, we always had a different type of bond and connection, which as his life unfolded, led his mom, my girlfriend at the time, sister, to ask me what I think about being his goddad, because his mom was going through some tragedy, some ups and downs, because somebody close to her had got murdered back then, and there was some instability there on her part, and she wanted to make sure that he would be taken care of if something was to happen to her, Lord forbid. But once she asked me, I went and I talked with my mentor, and I asked him about it, about what does being a goddad or godfather or godparent entail, and his response was, it's a great responsibility. So that led me to go internal and really ask the deeper questions, from the higher power or the creator. What is this, and what's my responsibility? And it took a while for me to come to the conclusion that I would be his goddad, but I had to go to him because he was of age at that time. Time had went on he was no longer 6 to 8 months or 2 or 3, he was able to talk and comprehend, experience his conversations. He could have been about 8 or 9. And when I asked him, had his mom talked with him about me being this guy's dad, his response was yes. And I then asked him, well, what does that mean? Do you know what this means if I'm your god dad? And his response in the squealiest of voices, the babiest of voices, that means that if my mom died, you gonna take care of me. And when he said that, it's a shockwave through my body and a shockwave through my life, because the true assessment was, and the question was, if this does happen, are you ready? The self-assessment and the question was that, and my response was no. And that let me know in my heart that I needed to get some things in order. I needed to accelerate and initiate and accelerate my growth process to make sure that I was in a position to take care of this young man. Thankfully, that never took place. His mom has always been in his life, and his dad as well. But as a godparent, I played my part in imparting different wisdom, keys, and principles into his life, and being there supportive, and being there as a support, financially, and also when he had different events as he was little, we'd be in the audience making sure that he had that support. And also when he was little, he used to tear Walmart up. That seemed to be his spot. I remember us being in Walmart and him running around just having a good time. Fat, and never a bad child, which I don't believe there are any bad children. He had a lot of energy, and sometimes kids mismanage the energy because they're going through the process of new experiences and learning how to live life. There were also times that when he had conflict with his siblings or his uncle or his nieces, they would be making fun of him. As a godparent, my responsibility was to coach him through those processes, ask questions, listen to him, talk with him, and build him up, and help him get the right interpretation about the experiences that was taking place in his life. I remember there being one major instance that I was almost taken out of his life, and that was on the back end of his auntie and I breaking up. We broke up because of my selfishness, and being in a relationship with a woman such as that, who was faithful, and me being connected to the type of guys and environment I was connected with, I didn't appreciate her. I was ripping and running and gunning and sleeping and doing whatever I wanted to do. And in my mind, I was thinking that this person would always be there. But of course, that expectation is unrealistic. And she decided to do her. And when she decided to do her, it hurt me more as a man than I think it hurt her, if I could safely say that. But when we broke up, we didn't break up on bad terms. We broke up because we knew that the end was the end. But the breakup was hard for me because I was emotionally connected to not only her, but her mom, her dad, her brothers, her sisters, and my godson. And I decided to take myself out of their life to get for time of healing and to disconnect with them totally. But that wasn't meant for me to take it upon myself. And I was talking with a young lady at the time, and she was concerned about her and I still being connected. This is my ex that I'm talking about. Her and I still being connected because I'm going over to visit with the family. But my ex and I already had an understanding that what was, and it never will be. And of course, as I said before, it wasn't on bad terms, but we just knew what it was. But because I opened my ear up to a person that didn't understand the whole reason for me being sent into these people's lives and these people being sent into my life, I lost time with them about a month or 2 months. And I was sent back into their lives because my mentor told me that it is meant for you to be a part of their lives. There are things that they need in their life that they're not getting because you are the person that's supposed to give it to them. Once that was said to me, it's a wrap. I'm back. I felt bad for a little while, but when you feel bad, you got to learn how to forgive yourself. I forgave myself and I went back in and rebuilt that connection with all of my kids, my nieces, my younger sisters, my godson. Which brings us up to this point. Again, it's Friday night. I'm tipping. I'm sipping. I want to go and sip some of my lick. He sees me. And he poses the question, what's in that bag? And I'm paralyzed. Like 12 put a whole spotlight on my whole life. That's how I felt. Like the police put a spotlight on my whole life. And I never know, and I can never fathom the explanation that I gave to this 3-year-old young man. But I knew that the life that I was living was coming to an end because I was living my life for myself and I wasn't living my life on purpose. I was living my life to the degree where I was impacting people and I didn't know who I was impacting because I didn't know that they was watching me. But my guardian angel let me know that I could no longer live my life for myself. I had to live my life on purpose. I had to live my life for Kimmy. I had to live my life for Kayla. I had to live my life for Isaiah. I had to live my life for JJ. I had to live my life on purpose to positively impact these people and to stir them up and to help them realize that there's potential on the inside of them that must come to the surface to restore the lives of people that they've been sent to help and people that they've been sent to stir up for them to reach their full potential as well. But at the time when my guardian angel told me, I heard it again, but I didn't hear it. Therefore, I didn't respond. And it took quite a while, several milestone moments in my life for me to wake up and get up. And the reason why it took the time that it did was because I was locked up and didn't know it.